So, good morning, everyone. I'm Shani from UG Office. On behalf of NUS School of Computing, welcome to the undergraduate program briefing for students matriculating in 2026. Thank you for being here today and congratulations on your admissions to the School of Computing. A friendly reminder on the meeting etiquette, and please note that this webinar will be recorded. So for today's session, we will start with a warm welcome from Professor Min, the Vice Dean of the Undergraduate Studies. Next, we have a segment by Dong Jun, the President of the Students' Com Club, who will share with you about his experience and also activities that Com Club has that helps you to transit to your university experience. And last but not least, we will have a session of Q&A. So now, without further ado, Prof. Min, our Vice Dean of the Undergraduate Studies, will be sharing with you some key information about the program structure and the degree requirements so you know what to expect in the following weeks. Prof. Min, please.
All right. Hi, everyone. I hope you can see my screen. And I'm just going to move the Zoom window decorations out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to share a screen. Okay, everyone can see all right? Okay, so my name is Min. I'm your, okay, Oliver, yes? Do you have a question or you could see the screen all right? Okay, if you have any questions, you can also use the Q&A panel. That's one way to ask questions. Okay, I'm going to assume that Oliver was saying yes, he could see the screen. So again, my name is Min, like the minimum function. So when you send emails to me, make sure you make them short. Otherwise, I tend not to be able to read the whole thing. I have a very short attention span. Anyways, I am the Vice Dean of Undergraduate Studies, so I'm very pleased to be one of the first people to welcome you to the School of Computing, whatever you might be studying. And you've already seen all of these slides before, I think, because they have been recorded. And hopefully most of you watched them, maybe at 2x or even 5x, I don't know. But the point of this briefing is to make sure you understand all the information that's key parts of your program. So again, this course briefing covers all of our bachelor's in computing as well as the bachelor in science. That's just for the business analytics program. There are two other programs that we have that have special briefings. So one is our CEG program, which is a Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Engineering. And that has a separate briefing that will be happening at this time, right? So if you go take a look at this, it'll be at the Block EA Atrium Lecture Theater on Friday. So this Friday morning from 10 to 4 p.m., you can go check that out. There's another briefing for a very small cohort of SoC students that are shared with the College of Humanities and Sciences. And that is because they are with the geospatial intelligence cross-disciplinary program, which is a really exciting program that we're offering with the geography department. Okay, despite all of that, I think we can talk about what we're actually going to cover today, and that is the program briefings for the first five of us, the degree programs here. So these are all of the common admissions for computer science and AI. Then we have our Bachelor's of Information Security, and then the Bachelor's of Business AI Systems, and the Bachelor's of Science in Business Analytics. So these ones are going to be covered in this briefing. Okay, so in the actual part which we gave you this briefing, I'm not going to repeat everything. In fact, that is the entire briefing. What we're going to do is make sure that we actually have done our homework, right? By making sure you know what slides and information represents the degree was represented at NUS. Okay, figure out who has priority for securing a spot in a popular course, ensuring that you understand the disciplinary procedures for dealing with academic dishonesty. You really don't want to be on the wrong side of the stick there. being able to clear that you have a knowledge of what things help you in NUS experiment with new subjects without risk. Okay, and the rest of the questions there. So I'm actually going to go to another system, okay, which is Menti. I'm sure many of you have used a system like this before. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the top slide here. Okay, and this is what we need you to do. We're going to ask you to open another browser window. You can listen while you're going along, or use your phone device, one of these things over here. Okay, and then scan the QR code. Okay, and then log in. Okay, so I see we have about 40 of us already in. We want to get to at least 175 of you online. Okay, looks like that's going quite nicely. I really want to get these Zoom windows out of the way. Let's see, can I drag them out? Go away. Okay. And the other one. Yeah, please go ahead and spam the thing. It's much more fun if we get lots of emojis and details going on. Yeah. 136. Can we get to 150, please? All right. Choose any name you want, but later on you'll need to, if you get in the top 15, you'll need to actually claim your prize. So don't make it too hard to identify yourself. Okay, we're 150, 160. Keep it up, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. I think we have 231 people online. So I think we can get to 200, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go. Keep it up. 176. 180. All right. I feel like, I'm in the auction house, right? Going once, going twice. Yeah. If you spam enough, maybe the QR code won't be visible and then people won't be able to scan it, so you'll win, right? I'm just kidding. Okay, 192. Okay, if we get to 200, I'll give you 10 seconds after 200 to log in, and then we'll get started. 194. Thanks for all of your patience. Again, this is your continuous assessment. Very few courses in SoC have just the final exam. It's quite like what you're facing in A levels, Poly, or IB. So we're at 200. So we're going to count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I should have put lobby music, right? Well, that's my problem. Okay. So, oh, there's a countdown timer. I should have known that. Okay, let's go. All right. So we're gonna have, it says 9 questions. Okay, 9 questions. Okay. And for those who place in the top 15, so 1, 2, 3, okay, you're gonna take a screenshot as I'm gonna do right now with this cursor thing, right? Pling. Okay, and then you're going to send it to this email address, SOCUG, all as one token, okay, at comp.nus.edu, and you have to attach your screenshot along with your actual name because, okay, I don't know what your name is in Menti, right? So if you do that and you do well, then you're all set. Okay, let's go. All right. All right. Okay, 156. What happened there, everyone? Okay, let's hope you are all ready. Okay, I know sometimes it's laggy and you're upset you're on a slow link. Well, don't worry about it. It's just really to provide a fun method of doing things. Okay, we'll get to 180 and then we'll just hope everyone's in. We're struggling. Come on, 178. We want a denial service attack to the provider. Okay, let's go. All right, answer quickly to get more points. Okay. What requirement ensures that your degree represents education at NUS? Okay. Could it be at least 60% of the programs have to be done at NUS? No triple counting in second majors? Could it be that at least 80% of your unit requirements must be between 1,000 to 4,000? Could it be the three pillars of general education? What do you think the answer is? Okay, so you probably know the rules of this game. It's like Blue Kid and other things, right? Or Kahoot. You tap on your phone or device and you tell us which one is right. And let's see, how do we do? Okay, so in fact, the right answer is at least 60% of the program has to be done at NUS. That is why you're getting a degree from us. If you're getting your program from somewhere else, from exchange programs, then it will be not the same. So let's just recap some of the slides. Again, I'm sure you did your homework, but just in case you didn't know, okay? So here we are on slide 43. This is when we're going over the curricular part of the point, okay? And it says right down here, okay? And yeah, I know it's CA, right? So you have to be making sure of it, okay? So a second major, as you may know, is basically 1 year's worth of studies. Many times those studies can be double counted, okay, meaning that you're doing your normal major and your second major also has the same requirements. Okay. Of course, when you do a second major, they have to be in somewhat in depth. So we require many of the courses to be about level 3000 or higher, of which at least 60% of your coursework has to be done here at NUS. Okay, so that is where we're going with that. All right. So I will also say that this is true even of other programs. So for example, a minor, right? So a minor is basically 1 semester, right? It's not 20, it's not 40 units, but it's about half of that. Okay, again, we can double count some of it. And again, you see this rule here, right? It says a minimum of 60% of the units have to be coming from the minor in NUS faculty. Okay, so be clear about that. So you can do some of your requirements overseas. I know many students sort of try to optimize, make sure they only take the hard modules overseas, so they skip all the tough lectures, including myself at NUS. Okay, so just make sure you're clear about that. Okay. Um, then one other thing you might find is that specializations also require this 60%. Okay. Now I know a lot of us thought about general education, but actually general education has six pillars of general education. You know, they come in four three sort of groups, right? General competencies, 21st century competencies, and Singapore in the community. But there are actually 6 courses. Each course is worth 4 units. So you take a total of 24 units there. All right. So all fun and games. So yes, it's fun and games, hopefully more fun. And we'll go on to the next question. Are you guys ready? If you're ready, spam something. All right. I think we're ready to go. All right. Question 2 of 12. Okay, let's see whether we can get up to 180 people ready. Okay, wake your phone up. Hopefully it's not on power saving mode as my phone is always dying. Okay, 170. Oh, we're struggling today. How many people do we have? 243. Okay, if you don't know how to join, you can just go to the menti.com thing there and then type the code in, and then you're ready to go. Okay? 178, 9, 8, I don't know. I think sometimes Menti has some problems. Okay, so answer quickly. Let's see what you get. Okay, which section discusses the priority for securing course spots? Could it be courses and grades? Sounds pretty good. Curriculums, degree structures and degree options, course registration, maybe enrichment and activities. I mean, I think, doing floorball and other things also might require courses. So let's see what you guys said. All right. Most of us said course registration. Well, duh, right? So very good. If you selected that, let's go back and take a look there. Okay. So here it is. When we do course registration, you do it by EduRec. Okay. So you go to this URL. You're going to be doing this very, very soon. Okay. So I think our undergraduate office has already pre-allocated you for a lot of courses, but for some courses that you haven't yet chosen, you can do it through this state. Okay, so you go to My EduRec, go to Academics, and you do course registration. And there's this magenta formula here that tells you your priority score. Okay, so let's go cover that. That is basically this. Your A score is basically your program requirements category. Okay, and this is actually a list from top to bottom. Okay, so the ones at the top have more priority, the ones in the middle less, and the ones down here less. Okay, so if you are taking NUS college course, you get highest priority. If you're in a major core, you mean that's a requirement of your core major, then you will have higher priority to take those courses. And then, of course, at the very bottom are unrestricted electives. So if you're taking a course, you're interested in it, but other people are taking it because it's their major, they, of course, have higher priority than you because they probably needed to graduate, right? Okay, so there's other things as well, right? So, for example, year four students, of course, they get higher priority. This is their very last chance to graduate with that course. People who are in the Engineering E-Scholars program, they get a little bit of a bump up. And most of us are here at year one, right? So, okay, well, maybe questionable how much priority we have, but a lot of our courses are already pre-allocated, so don't sweat it. Okay, and the thing that's really under your control is this part over here, right? Your rank. So you can decide which courses you want more importantly. So, for example, you can take a look at the registration site. It'll tell you what's the current number of points that you need to get a particular course in a particular round. So you may want to rank the courses that you really want highly earlier. Okay. So we have 3 rounds of course registration, and that will probably take us all the way to you have most of your courses allocated. All right. All right, let's go back. We have 118 players. If you don't manage to make it in for a question or two, don't give up, okay? Because like there are people dropping, the connections go wrong. Maybe you just unplug the Ethernet on your friend's computer or turn it to airplane mode in case sabotage them or whatever. Okay, so we have 166. Let's see what we can get to 175. 170, barely holding there. Okay, I'll settle for 170. Let's see whether we can get 170. Okay, we have 250 people online, okay? So all you have to do is to go to menti.com, type in 54702201, and then you can join the competition today. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to go on. Oh, I hit the annotation button. Let's not do that. All right. How do you deal with timetable clashes and exam clashes? This is the hardest one. Many people get this wrong. Do you appeal through SoC at comp.nus.edu.sg? Do you get permission from your instructor staff? After all, if they give you permission, you'll be able to join, right? Or sorry, it can't be done because of other logistic constraints. Okay, actually, again, this year it's the same. It actually cannot be done. Okay, so even though you might get permission from your instructors, you would say, okay, I can go into the class because the instructor lets me. Okay, actually, that's not true because many times we have to take all the appeals uh, online in a central way. Okay, so even timetable clashes and exam clashes cannot be appealed. But if you have prerequisite changes, like you've done your some other course online or something, and you think you have the prerequisites for a particular course, you can appeal those. But for timetable clashes and exams, unfortunately, that cannot be done. Okay, so I'm sorry about that, and I'll show you the slide that talks about this. Okay, let's go back. 46. Okay, so again, just to make it clear to everyone, every semester you have to do a minimum workload of 18 units. Okay, so that's like 4.5 normal courses. Usually you take about 20 units a semester. So 20 times 8 is 160. That's your normal degree. Okay, so in the first year, first semester, okay, the appeal for minimum workload waiver for course registration, if you want to take a lower load, is not going to be able to be done until year three. Okay, so in your last 3 semesters leading to graduation, then you will be allowed to go for waiver and lower your workload, okay? Because we want to make sure everyone gets to graduation in a good way. Okay, so there are also many of you are very powered students, so you want to cruise through your NUS um, uh, workload. So just make sure that you look through the maximum permissible workload. Again, many people in their first semester are getting used to uni. Some of you may be moving into halls or residences. So for that reason, we don't allow any students to take more than the normal allocated courses. Okay. So usually that means up to 23 units for people who are doing a single degree. But if you happen to be a student that are doing double degree or doing some type of concurrent degree program, or you're a student also admitted to NUS college, then you can take up to 27 units. Okay, because SoC is a gigantic faculty. You are one of many, many special people here. We do not support class or exam table time clashes. Okay, so even if you say, okay, well, this other lecturer and this other faculty is going to record all of their lecture, they said own time, own task, OT, I can watch everything. We still will not allow you to appeal for timetable waivers. So plan your workload accordingly. All right, so let's go back to Chrome and let's see how we're doing on the leaderboard. So you might be wondering how you are doing. Okay, I'm going to take off the annotation. Let's see. Are you the fastest fingers? Okay, so we have the following people in the front. CD, Metal Fallen, Adam. Oh, Adam's in second place. 1, 2, 3, Feel, Isabel, Jewel, Jason, Eva, and Oliver, who raised his hand. Excellent, Oliver. I'm glad you're here with us. Okay. So again, this quiz leaderboard only has the first 10 people. So again, we have prizes for up to 15. So even if you're not shown here, there's a very good possibility you could still be in the making for the prize. All right. So let's go on. Okay. We are dropping in the number of players. I'm so sad. Okay. Can we get to 140? Yeah? All right, good. So I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. How many case studies did me, go over when covering academic dishonesty? What? Why would I ask that? Could it be 1 case, 2 cases, 3 cases, or 4 cases? Do you guys remember? It was in the slides, right? So yeah, I had to start asking harder and more random questions just to make it sort of interesting. Okay, so the right answer is free. So most of you guessed or actually knew correctly. Okay, so let's take a look at what that looks like in our courses as well. All right, so let's see. So I want to reiterate, okay, there are many times in which people like want to gloss over and not say anything about academic integrity or student discipline, but actually it's a really fundamental tenet of SoC. You have to make sure that you're following the correct conduct for students for assessments, okay? So you have to be clear about what counts as plagiarism. Okay, so you can go to the plagiarism website here. And because AI is, of course, the big thing in the house these days, we do have a very concerted idea of how we want you to use AI tools. So there are guidelines about it for academic works. Please refer to this set of notes. Okay. Unfortunately, we have had cases of people put on suspension, actually kicked out of the university. It's so sad, okay, to have to sit there with a student who knew that they did wrong, but still did something, and then they have to be expelled. I mean, it breaks my heart. Okay, but just to be clear about this, this has been going on in many different guises. Again, it has happened at NTU. There were some students that were accused of using AI. The students said they didn't. The university found them guilty anyways. And again, here it's not like the court of law. If we believe with the evidence that there is sufficient evidence to say that you have used an AI tool, then we will be able to prosecute you. So be careful about that. Okay. NUS wasn't also free from shame. Okay. So in fact, earlier this year, no, last year, we had a case where some graduate students put a hidden AI prompt in an academic paper. They put it in white font so you couldn't see it. But basically, this text was to tell somebody who was reviewing that paper, like another professor, if you're going to use AI to review my paper, please give it a positive score. Okay. So they didn't mean to game the system by that, but of course, this was not perceived properly, right? Because you're asking the AI to give a favorable review. The right way is to whistleblow to say, hey, look, this person used AI to review my paper. That's not appropriate. We want human judgment, not AI judgment. And accordingly, many times we want professors, not an AI, to grade our homework assignments. So those were two of them. The third case was this one, which I've redacted some parts. Okay. Again, if you read the text carefully, you can see that the student is actually quite regretful of doing this. Okay. And if you look at this, actually, this is a very common problem. People may find that coming into the school, they've had some previous programming experience, or even if they didn't, they were trying to solve a program on their own. And then they couldn't do it. They just couldn't figure it out. Out of frustration and desperation, I reached out to my friend blank blank for help. Okay. Then he told me he was still working on this code. He sent me what he had already had at this point, and the instructor said that actually they were not supposed to share code. Okay. So unfortunately, we have no choice. We have to prosecute them for wrongdoing. Okay. And, despite this being the first and only incident of academic dishonesty, we actually have to send emails out and, notify people that you've committed this violation. It really impacts students' lives. One, because there's a lot of stress involved. Okay. Second, because it invalidates the possibility that you can TA, that you can go for overseas exchange. So that exchange semester that you wanted to go to the US, Silicon Valley, or to NOC, those things are gone. Okay, I'm sorry, because if we catch you cheating, we do not think you are the necessarily a good ambassador for NUS. Okay, you can understand that we only want to send students who are great ambassadors for NUS. So please make sure you don't fall foul plagiarism. Okay, so the key points about this is to make sure, okay, for each course you take, the lecturing staff may have a slightly different view about what counts as proper use of AI and what aren't. Okay, help others recognize their incorrect behavior. In some courses, we go prosecute even alumni of those courses. Okay, because the alumni, let's say you're senior in year two, they share their homework assignment with you in year one. They are also in trouble for abetting and assisting you in plagiarism. Okay, so make sure, don't assume you know the policy, ask. Okay, communicate, talk with your lecturing staff. Let them know that you're not sure. Let them know that they can brief the class to make sure that everyone's on the same page. Okay, so as it says here, very importantly, please make sure you are clear on the policy. You cannot rely on ignorance as an excuse, and you cannot aid others in the search of their academic dishonesty. That also counts as a no-no on your part. All right. So that was the painful part. I know it's quite boring to listen to, but it's necessary, okay? So we're going to go back to question number 5, okay? Can we get to 110? 115? Okay, we're getting there. All right, I'll give you another 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll go. All right. So you can still log in and play. Please do. I mean, it's more fun than watching the briefing. What NUS policies allow you to experiment with new subjects without risk to your grade? SU policy, breadth and depth, grade-free scheme, or leave of absence? Which do you think it is? Again, there might be multiple answers, but you can just tap one and you're good to go. Okay, so it's fastest fingers, right? Or who has the best bandwidth, right? Sometimes it's like that. Okay, so there are actually two things that are correct here, SU policy and the grade-free scheme. So let's take a look at those parts a little bit. Okay, so here we go. So the SU option is actually called the grade-free scheme, okay? It is the scheme to allow us to take courses outside of their field of study, okay? So you can exercise this a lot in years 1 and 2, for example, okay? So all you have to do is for a particular course that you want to SU, it's usually offered for a grade, and then you take it as per normal, but you put in your effort. If you find that you're not doing so well, just do well enough to pass the course, right? So you need to get a D or higher, and then you can convert that grade to an S grade. That S grade does not impact your GPA whatsoever. So it's taken out of the loop, and that's all nice. Now, there are very important caveats here. They are highlighted in red, so I'm going to use a red box for this, okay? A free day window to exercise your SU options after exams. So right after you get your exams, think about it. Do your spreadsheet or whatever. Calculate, is it a good idea to change this grade? And you're like, I got a B minus. Do I want to change it and get rid of it and turn it into an S? Okay. Now, one very important thing that people don't always know is you can exercise SU, okay, on an eligible course read with grades received in the same academic year. That means, for example, let's say you get a B plus on your CS 1101S Introduction to Programming, okay? And you're not quite sure whether you want to turn that into an S or keep the B plus, right? So you could say, for example, I don't know yet. I'm going to wait until next semester, semester 2, because actually it's still the same academic year. Okay, then I'm going to get my grades in the second semester and say, oh, actually, they're pretty good. Okay, then I want to take that B minus and then S it out, right? Get rid of it, and I can change it into a normal SU so that all the A's that I got this semester can prop up my grades, and I have a higher grade point average going in to search for internships, for example. Okay, but please note this point here, it's irrevocable, okay? So I'll do another highlight, maybe in yellow here, okay? Once you exercise the SU option, you cannot undo it, okay? So for example, if you've done it in the semester 1 and you want to revoke it in semester 2, you can't do that. So Elliot, you raised your hand, you can unmute or tap your question into the Q&A and we can take a look at that. So I don't know whether Elliot can unmute. Let's see. Okay, well, we'll figure that out. I think we'll try to take your question. See, can we get
Okay, Elliot, I've unmute you, so you can try and ask a question.
Elliot? You can go ahead.
Alternatively, you can also type your question in the Q&A chat.
Okay, we'll come back to Elliot later. Thanks, Sharni, for doing that. So
Okay.
I hope Elliot will get his question answered soon. Okay, so in hands-free grade scheme, the SU option is really limited to level 1000 courses and some level 2000 courses that don't have prerequisites, basically intro level courses. We don't want you to SU your core requirements where you've already built up the fundamentals. Okay. So there are some caveats if you are found to plagiarize or have academic honesty, or you've already dropped it with an F or things of this sort. You know, these are sort of corner cases, but then it makes logical sense that you're not going to be able to change those options into a satisfactory, okay, or unsatisfactory. All right, let's go back. Okay, question 6. We're getting there. Okay, 110. Can we make it to 115? Oh, we're past that, way past that. Okay, so let's go. What are some forms of enrichment, sorry, during year one summer that are available to you? Could be Odyssey, Orbital, CVWO, or NOC. Okay, all sort of like acronym soup, right? Okay, 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go. Orbital is the one that's most famous. Odyssey is another one. So both of those are correct. NOC is something you can do a little later on, okay, after you've accumulated enough credits. And same with CVWO. Generally, these two programs are enrichment, but they're not things that year one students typically do. So let me just recap a little bit of that again. So actually, Orbital is a very exciting program. It was started by myself and one other of our professors who was the Vice Dean of Undergraduate Studies then. It is called Orbital because it is a chance for you to take flight. So it's also known by another boring name, Independent Software Development Project, where you guys get to pair up in teams of two. So if you've got a buddy from Poly or JC, then work with them, okay? Work in pairs, and you do it over the long vacation. And basically, you can use it as an excuse to do anything under the sun, okay? Some software development, use AI, blow a lot of tokens, whatever, all right? And then you can do a basic project that's usually some type of web application because this is easy to showcase to employers. And then you end up with getting 4 units of this CSCU. So CSCU means you don't have an option. It's only done in S and U, okay? And you get it as this, but you get it in the fall. You get it in semester 1 of year 2. Okay, so very similar to that, we also have another course that's Odyssey. So Odyssey is a chance for you again over the summer to take the same 4 units of work. But this time you're working with a mentor, usually a PhD student, or even sometimes with a professor directly. And this is for those students who think, maybe I'm curious, I want to do research. I was maybe considering graduate school, but I don't know yet. You know, I really don't know what research is like in NUS. I mean, again, we are one of the great schools in all of the world to teach computing. So we have a lot of professors, including myself, who do this research. So you can connect with them, okay? And this is one way of doing so. So this is a good on-ramp for those of you who may be, simply considering maybe research is more right for me. I'm not so interested in doing software engineering. Okay, so those are two ways of doing this going forward. Okay, how are we doing on our leaderboard? Let's take a look. All right, so there we go. Adam is now in first place. Metal Fallen retained second. Evan is third. Jesse is fourth. CD falls to fifth. Chong Min Duk came back as fastest. Boongi 123, I remember that. And Isabel are both a little farther down the leaderboard. And CQ. All right, question 7. Oh, we have a lot of you on. Come on. 135. Let's hear it. 3, 5. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, click your clickers. What are some advice that we have for grade-free courses? Okay. Don't take too many difficult courses. Learn your basics well. Work in groups. Wait at least 3 days after grades are out to declare SU. What do you guys think? Yeah, I know there's a really long timer, but you can get your answer in. Okay. So again, there could be more than one correct answer, right? So again, it doesn't matter which one you picked, as long as you pick one fast. Okay. If your connection is slow, don't worry about it. Just play along just because, there's nothing else to do. And probably you're streaming some Netflix on the side anyways. It's okay. All right. So how did we do? Learn your basics well. Don't take too many and don't take too many difficult courses, right? So those are very, very important things that you need to think about. So we've already said about the SU option. And again, there are other things that you can think about that you would like to be able to do, okay? So you can take um, courses that are more varied. So again, our dean will also encourage you, and I will encourage you at the welcome tea too, because computing is such a discipline that's changing so fast, right? You really want to be able to leverage as much of your study at NUS. So many of us, actually a very large percentage of us, take a minor or some type of second major. So these are very common. So you can say, oh, I was really interested in, for example, project management, business, because I want to be a consultant. Or I was really interested in cultural studies, especially in Southeast Asia. So these types of things will help distinguish you as a graduate that has something special to offer an employer that not everyone else in the School of Computing has. Remember, SoC has one of the top cutoffs. So every one of you coming in are extremely good students. It's just that because there's so many bright lights, you still have to find your special color and lighting, okay, to call attention to yourself to potential employers and jobs that you find interesting. Okay, so make sure you understand how to do that. Okay, question 8, 104, 107. I think the internet's sometimes a little bit spotty, right? So 130, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Okay, answer quickly to get more points. I think you know this by now. Who, I should say, is one of our assistant deans in UG? Is it Tom Kiat, Kanmin Yen, Aaron Tan, or Boyd Anderson? So we give you a little bit more reasonable time, 10 seconds to tap your answer. Going once, last call. So I am actually the Vice Dean of Undergraduate Studies, so that's not the correct answer. But Aaron Tan, who's also on this call, you can see his portrait in his Zoom chat icon. He's there. He is one of our assistant deans, and he's one of the most celebrated lecturers in SoC. Okay, so we have a question from Zoe. So I don't know whether we can let her unmute, but Sharni, can you see whether we can allow her to talk?
Okay, let me try.
So if you have a question, you can try to unmute your mic and give us a
Okay, I click on
question.
allow to talk. Not sure if she's able to
Okay,
ask.
so if you can ask a question, you feel free to interrupt. Otherwise, again, we'll have a Q&A session in a short while. Okay, so just to make sure that everyone is clear on that, let us go to the slide on this. Okay, so the undergraduate office is here where I'm standing right now. Sharni and a lot of other of our UG staff are on the call. Okay, we all sit on level 2 of the Com 1 building. So you just walk between the hallway and you'll see the Office of Undergraduate Studies. We're all there. And you can see Prof. Aaron's name is listed clearly here. So I'm Min, that's my name. And then there's Aaron. And with us in the deanery for undergraduate studies. We have Chiu Hong and Jin. I think some of them may be on the call as well. Okay. When you dialogue with us, you'll be reaching out to us through this SoC UG COMP address, which will allow you to enter in a ticket. So as once you have your NUS ID, you'll be able to use this way of getting your needs met. Okay, so we'll talk more about that in a short while. Okay, so let's go on. Question 9. So let's see, can we get 120? Oh, we're going to shoot way past that. All right, 130. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Question 9. Who can you turn to help at SoC? So this last question, right? Student support managers, academic advisors, university counseling services, or career advisory. Which ones do you think? I gave it away, right? There's more than one. Okay, you got 10 more seconds. Go for it. Just the last question, guys. All right. So actually, a lot of these are correct. The only one that's not correct is University Counseling Services, and that's just because they're not part of SoC. They're part of our university. Okay. So again, this is extremely important to cover. So I will take a bit of time to tell you about this. Okay, so academic advising is cases where we have faculty who are knowledgeable about the programs, and you might have some of the questions here. Should I do a more power degree, like a double degree, French double degree program, or I want to do entrepreneurship? I've heard about the computing innovation programs. How do I go about doing that? Or maybe I'm interested in research. Would Odyssey be a good fit? Okay, so you can talk to an academic advisors. They're all listed at this site here. And you can see Aaron is showing his face again right there. Okay, a very important person in our batch. Okay, but there are lots of other people here. Okay, we don't actually have meetings with academic advisors on a regular basis, so please reach out to them. They are here to talk to you, but you can also get a lot of career advice, advising advice for courses at least from your seniors. So you have OGLs and you talk to people in RAG and other things like that. Please talk to your fellow students. Your seniors can give you a lot of help. Okay. So for academic support, academic advisors can help you connect to another mentor who knows something about those things. So we can certainly connect you to alumni, to VCs, other people who know how to do entrepreneurship. We can get you in touch with the professors who teach a particular area that you're interested in. Okay, and things of that sort. So, for example, I do a lot of natural language processing research. I do research on large language models like ChatGPT and Claude Code. So if you're interested in those things, you can come talk to me. Okay. Also, there are lots of other people in our school who are involved. Okay. So industry relations, you're going to deal a lot with them when it comes to internships. Okay, there we go. Okay, so when internships, it's your turn to do internships. You want to keep a clear idea about how that works. You can go to the web page that will help you understand how that works. Okay, let me clear the screen here. Okay, and you can see all about the different things that we have for students in terms of the types of internships, ATAP, DTLP, and SIP. Okay, we all acronym soup here. Okay, but you can know more about that later. Okay. Aside from that, we have career advisory. These are people who sit directly in the school. If you want to get an internship and you're not sure, you're like very shy, you can't interview well, it's good to go to them earlier. Okay, get them to look at your CV, ask them to do a mock interview for you, help you relax and get familiar with questions so you don't feel like a deer in headlights when it comes to your interview. Okay, so those are all things that are based directly in SoC. Right as you enter Com 1, you go through the glass doors and they're right there on the left. Okay, they're at Com 1, level 1, 23. Whoops, wrong button. Yeah, so right there. Okay. Another very important office is the Office of Student Life Wellness. Okay. So they are also located with us in Com 1 Level 2. Okay. They are people that are in charge of making sure that students feel comfortable in the family that is SoC. Okay. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, there have been family issues or things like that, please come and talk to them. Talking to them is one way to also let us in undergraduate studies find ways of helping you cope with your studies. So, for example, if you're too stressed out about your parents losing their jobs and you have to start making money to support the family or things of that sort, we can help you reduce your workload and make sure that you can graduate in good style. Okay, another plug for the one wrong answer is the university counseling services. So if you need to talk to somebody, you can reach out to them as well. It's no stigma to need to talk to someone. In fact, myself, when I was a PhD student, I was very depressed at some point, and I had to go in for counseling for a couple rounds. Okay, sometimes counseling helps, sometimes it doesn't. So I went to talk to my version of UCS at my university. It didn't help me at all, but at least I knew that was an avenue that was made available, and I tried it. And if it helps you, that's great. Okay, so please remember when you're feeling low, there are people around on campus whose dedicated job is to help reach out to you. Okay, so if you're willing to stretch your hand out, because again, sometimes we feel overwhelmed. We might have been a very good, strong student at our school, but when we come here, we're at the bottom half or bottom quarter of the cohort. I mean, unfortunately, that will sometimes come to pass, okay? And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, okay? It just means that maybe you have to deal with all of the different changes that are happening before you get back on your feet. Okay, so actually that was the last question, wasn't it? So let's go back. Let's see how we are doing. All right. So we have Metal Fallen, Adam, CD, and Metal Fallen is at the top. Adam's second, CD, Gamer, CQ, Feel, Evan, Nat, Chung Duk Min Duk, and Elish. So let's give a big hand for all of them for clearing the leaderboard. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Sharni for a little while. Don't give up, okay? Don't close the leaderboard and the Menti yet, okay? Please don't close it because we still have some more things for you to do, okay? So keep it open, all right? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and if I can find the stupid stop button, it's on the other screen, and I'll let Sharni take over.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Min, for the insightful sharing. I hope you guys had fun participating in the quiz. So once again, congratulations to all winners and to the rest who participated. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we are pleased to share with you on some of the Com Club activities presented by Dong Jin. So now we will play a video. So back to you, Prof. Min.
Okay, so I'm going to do that because Dongjun had recorded his video. So just give me a second here.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Academic Day Sharing. I'm Dong Jun, an incoming Year 3 computer science student and the
Okay, wait a second. I think I forgot to share sound. Oh, it's there. Okay, it was already there. So let me try that again.
current president of the NUS Students Computing Club. Today, I'll be sharing more about what Computing Club is and what we do for the student community. I'll be giving a brief introduction about the club and key initiatives that we organize, which you guys can look forward to. To share more about us, Computing Club was established when the NUS School of Computing, or SoC, gained independence as a separate faculty from the Faculty of Science in 1998. Now, the NUS Students Computing Club is the official faculty club and sole union representative of all undergraduates in SoC. We aim to be the voice of students in SoC, organize student life activities and events for students, and foster strong bonds with other SoC student interest groups. Ultimately, we just hope to organize events that make university life just a bit better for everyone. Here is my amazing committee, which makes all the events possible. And here is the structure of the club, consisting of 5 wings in total. Now, I'll briefly go through the various wings and what we do. Firstly, we have the presidential wing, consisting of myself, my vice presidents, secretaries, and tech lead. We work closely to oversee each wing and collaborate with our staff advisors and NUS admin to ensure that our directors have all the necessary support for their events. Next, we have the internal relations wing, which primarily hosts welfare and sports events. Moving on, the external relations wing is in charge of our publicity and sponsorship endeavors, while also being the creative minds behind our merchandise. The student development wing hosts volunteering activities, career-related events, and rag and flag. Lastly, the student life wing mainly hosts orientation activities. Moving on, here's our key initiatives hosted throughout the academic year. We host a total of 3 camps: Freshman Social Camp, Freshman Orientation Week, and Freshman Finale Camp. Freshman Social Camp has already concluded in June, but you guys can still sign up for Freshman Orientation Week and Freshman Finale Camp, which start on 21st July and 4th August respectively. These camps act as the freshies' first official step into university and provide an opportunity to forge new friendships. Rag and Flag is a month-long initiative that blends community service with performance-based activities. Students work together to create a full-scale stage performance, all in just a few weeks, allowing them to forge lasting friendships while having fun. At the same time, our freshmen also take part in Flag, raising funds for local charities. Life Hack is one of our flagship events, whereby we organize a hackathon. CD BizCom League is a sports competition with business and engineering students, which include frisbee, dodgeball, and captain's ball. IFG is the inter-faculty games, and sign-ups are currently open, so do join our Tele channel and get a sign-up form from there. Socialize is an event tailored to international students to get to know Singapore and make some friends here, especially since it is scary entering a foreign country alone. The publicity team organized a LinkedIn photo shoot coupled with a mini pop-up photo booth. As the name suggests, this event, Camaraderie, is where SoC students build strong bonds with one another through game challenges and activities. Career Launchpad is for students who learn more about the ever-changing tech world from alumni and industry professionals from big tech companies like Microsoft and NCS to SMEs and startups. Students stand to win prizes such as keyboards and mouse on esports night, competing in games such as Brawl Stars and Clash Royale. Finals week is tough on everyone, so our club gives out exam welfare packs with items like snacks, drinks, phone stands, and even cosmetic products like toner, so that students can eat well, stay hydrated, and be ready to tackle their exams. We also host many fun ad hoc events, such as night cycling, archery fun shoot, and a mini cafe serving matcha and coffee. Now that you have heard about all our exciting events, here's one more way to be part of the Com Club community, through our awesome SoC merch. When you purchase our merchandise, you're directly supporting all the events and initiatives I've just shared. Finally, check out our Instagram and Telegram channel to be the first ones to know when our events are happening. Thank you.
Okay. So just to share with you, because Dongjun is currently doing his internship now, hence we are viewing his video, which you have kindly recorded for us earlier. Okay, so next segment, I'll share with you some useful context. I'm pretty sure just now, Prof. Min have already go through, but I'll just reiterate once more. So here are some important information. So for all UG matters, please write to our RT ticket via socug@com.nus.edu.sg with appropriate subject heading. You may reach out to Office of Industry Relations for any career or internship related queries, while the Office of Student Life provides proactive support for the NUS student community outside of classrooms. You may also contact University Counseling Services for personal counseling and also mental health issues. Just note that support is always available and please do not hesitate to reach out to any of us. Okay, so now we will hand over the time back to Prof. Min for a little surprise. Okay, Prof. Min, you're muted.
Thanks. So I was lying when I said we were done. So we actually have more questions. Yeah. So I think it's not muted anymore. Can you guys hear all right? Okay, so we are going to get 110 and then we'll go forward. Okay, so we're actually not done. We have a couple more bonus questions. Okay, and as I said in the pro tip, you need to have watched Dongjin's video carefully. All right, let's go. How many members does the Comm Club P Wing actually have? Does it have 5 members, 15, 16, or 10 people? Okay, yeah, take a step. We're not actually that sure, okay? But it's good to know your competing club. They're representing you at the student union. And in fact, the right number is the one that you guys guessed. Good job. So many of you guessed 45, and that's correct. That's bonus number 1. Bonus number 2, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we'll skip this one. All right, sorry, it should be there. I thought I can skip this part. Okay, how many people were there in the photo of the P-Wing? All 10 of them were there? Were there 9 people? Were there 8? Or this is ridiculous. How am I supposed to remember any of that? Give it a shot. Okay, actually, I was surprised. Not many people said it was stupid, but actually, there were only 9 people, but I gave you all of the correct answers. So if you go to the academics day slides, you can see their P-wing. Okay, it's actually pretty confusing to look at, right? Because there are all these masks. So I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people, but there are 10. You can see here, there's the president. General Secretary times 2, Finance Secretary times 2, and then all of the vice presidents as well. Okay. And our very, very last question, I think, okay, which will come up. Okay, Metal Fallen is still leading by a smidgen. Okay. The very last question says 12 out of 12, right? Okay. No more surprises. Let's go. Okay. Answer quickly to get more points. Which of the below are Comp Club activities? Okay, I mean, you only have to select one, so you can select any one you want. Okay, could it be Career Launchpad, Socialize, LinkedIn Photo Shoot, or EWP, or Exam Welfare Pack Distribution? That usually happens towards the end of the semester, right? Okay, socialize was one of them. Yeah, actually, all of these are correct. So this was just fastest fingers, right? You didn't even have to read the question. So don't expect your final exams to look like this. They won't be that easy. Okay, but anyways, let's take a look at the final leaderboard that we have for today. And we have Medal Fallen in first place. Congratulations. Okay, and then we have again, all of you who are on this screenshot, you can take a picture of this. I'm going to just grab one myself, okay? But if you got a point average of over 8,000, okay, there's a chance that you were in the fastest part. Okay. So if again, if you are in that 8,000 range, you can just take a screenshot of your score and send it on, as it says here, to SoCUG. Okay, and that's one way that you can get in touch with us. We will be looking inside, okay, because we have all the rankings. We need to know your name and how to reach you, okay? So to make it easy for us, when you file a request, put faculty briefing winner, okay, in your subject line if you're going to write an email to us, okay? And you have to collect your swag. There's quite nice stuff actually before week 2, okay? So I hope you enjoyed that. This was a way for us not to make the briefing so terribly boring. I know it can be very tedious sometimes, okay? So with that, I'm going to turn over the time to Sharni when I can find the stop sharing screen button. And over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prof. Min. Just to share with you guys, we have like really cool like merch that you can't get anywhere else. So it's pretty exclusive. So congratulations to the top 15. Okay, so now we are moving on to our last segment, which is also the Q&A segment. Okay, so for the Q&A, we have a group of friendly UG staff, vice deans, and assistant deans who will be taking your questions. For a more effective session, we urge you to browse through the previous Q&A because sometimes similar questions have already been asked and answered. So if your questions haven't been answered, you're welcome to type it in the Q&A chat box. After the session, we will also compile all frequently asked questions. So questions asked offline will also be added to the Q&A panel. Great. So if there are, we can just start with the Q&A, and if there's anything else, you can just either raise your hand or you can just type it in the chat box. Okay. So we will now officially start the Q&A session.
So like Sharni advised, please go through. The first thing is to open the question answer component in Zoom. Sometimes it's hidden. It might be under the More tab. Okay. Then because it's open to the open questions, go look through the answered questions, the middle tab. Okay. You'll see that a lot of your peers have already asked a couple, well, actually quite a lot of questions, 17 already. So please scroll through those, read through those first, and see whether they answer your questions or maybe they jog your memory about other things that you wanted to ask.
Okay, so for example, some of the questions asked, somebody asked if CS and CU courses can take up to 32, SU can we, so we can have kindly answered, CS and CU courses are not SU courses, so you can't take them for SU. And then another student asked, is it possible to take a minor and a specialization at the same time? Of course you can take both together. Okay, and there's also people asking if they're planning to take two focus area and a minor, will they be able to overload their units if they take a second major as well? So Ricky have also answered, if you are able to manage your workload, definitely you can pursue a minor, second majors, etc. And if you are somebody that is very interested to take up more courses, you can even consider DDP. Okay, so if there's any more question, y'all can type it in the Q&A chat box and we'll answer very quickly.
Okay, so I'll try to answer some questions live as well. So in the open question, there's a question from Chi Jia Till, who writes, I'll just read it out here. Just to add on to William's question, if we are not going for the finale camp, does that mean that the welcome session on the 5th of August will be the only event in week 0 for us? We will not be coming to campus for the other days of week 0. So again, that really depends on different things. Again, you have to check your program requirements and whether there are any briefings for your specific program that might happen in week 0. From the academic point of view, for the faculty, we have the welcome session on the 5th of August. That's the only academic activity that we have for you. But for example, Finale Camp is not offered by SoC itself. It's offered, as Dongjun mentioned, by the computing club. It's for students by students, right? So if you're going to that, that's absolutely fine. If you're not interested, that's also okay. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. And I think, yeah.
Okay, I'll take a question from Xiang Chen because I'm in charge of DDP. Okay, so Xiang Chen asks, is it possible to switch from CS major to a DDP right now? Of course, you can still apply for DDP as long as it's within your first 4 semesters. The DDP application window will be posted on SoC website, so you just have to take note of the instructions. And yes, you can apply. You can upgrade your CS major to a DDP, but of course, you'll be subjected to approval.
So keep your questions coming, and then periodically you will want to check through the answers tabs just because there will be new questions that you haven't seen because you're busy writing your own questions or reading something else that do get answered and then move from the open section to the answered. Okay, we will be compiling all of these questions and answers into a frequently asked questions, even though it may not be so frequently asked. We should just call them asked questions. Okay, they will live at the same freshman microsite address that we have circulated earlier to you, so you can take reference from there. So don't worry that you might have missed it. So I'm going to answer one of these questions live as well. So Chi Neng Chan asks, should we declare a specialization in year 1? What are the pros and cons of declaring one early? Okay, so I think it's a normal question that students ask. What's the importance of declaring early when I can declare later? Okay, so my advice is to try out 1 or 2 of the courses, maybe in the second semester of first year, that are congruent with your specialization, double major, minor, second major, etc. All of these, like other certificates that you can have on top of a single degree. Okay, try them out. And if you think, okay, this is more my cup of tea, or it's also interesting, and I still want to keep my degree program. I just want to collect an extra certificate to signify I'm different from other people. Okay, then do those courses, 1 or 2 of them in the second sem of year 1. Okay, why you would want to declare? Okay, actually, it helps you in your course registration. If you recall, when we were talking about course registration, there was this magenta formula. I'll just write it on the screen here. Okay. So it's like A of some course times B of some course times C. Okay, that's your priority formula. So the A part of that is something you have control over only if you have um, changed your specialization. So when you change to a specialization, you have a higher priority. So this means that that A component of that multiplication becomes a little bit more in your favor. Okay, so that's the reason why you would declare it. Yeah. Okay. Of course, you don't want to declare too early. It's just administratively a lot of work for you to do that. So try to do it when you're pretty sure that you're going to complete the program, and make sure to obey the deadlines set by the undergraduate office. Okay, a lot of students, they realize only after the deadline for declaring a certain type of option has come out that they want to do it. Okay, they find out from their friends. But unfortunately, often there's nothing we can do about it. The chance has gone. So Sharni is nodding her head. So that's something that we really want to emphasize. Be attentive to your email. I know many of us watch Telegram or Instagram for information, but look out for the official announcements from us.
Yes, all the official announcements will be sent to you via email. So please read your emails. Yeah. I think Tian asked a question like if there's no lessons or tutorials on the day, do you still have to come to campus? Of course, no, you don't have to. But if you want to study or you want to meet up with your classmates, yeah, you're free to come to campus. There's always a lot of activities on campus. You can go to U Town or you can go to like SoC. Like usually we have like quite a lot of activities. Okay.
Yeah, I would also add to that, you are paying, the government or your parents are paying quite a lot of money for your education. Education doesn't always mean sitting at home doing things and attending classes remotely. That is definitely not a good way to utilize what it means to be in SoC. There's so much out of classroom learning that we all do, and learning from one of these devices, from webcast or even on a laptop is very different than being in the classroom with friends, sweating it out in tutorial. Okay. So make sure you try to come to campus often, utilize the resources that are here for you, all of the CCA and other things.
Okay, Rohan asked a question. If I'm doing a double major right now, can I switch back to single? Of course you can, but of course, again, the answer is you can submit your request and the department will review and will let you know if it's successful or not. But please make sure you do it within your first 4 semesters. That is very important. Okay, Anusha asked, what specialization opportunities are there available to CS major? This information can be found on SOC's website. You can just go to CS single degree. There's like a lot of like specializations that you can take a look also. Mm.
Okay, I'll try to answer this question that's been sitting around for a while. So Sarah Thomas asked, I had been given the AP CSA exam during high school. What is the process of using those credits? So I actually don't have a definitive answer for you. That is part of our admissions processes. So again, the right people to ask here is our admissions team. They will help you with that a bit more. But as I understand, the AP CSA exam may not be actually given credits. But I think Muikat, who is our Deputy Director of UG, will know the exact answer, and I think she's going to give you an answer right now.
There are also quite a number of you ask about timetabling. Okay, so you can actually use the NUS mod to check lecture and tutorial slots. The course schedule will also be there as well. And if you have more questions, actually afternoon there's respective department briefing, so you can ask like department specific questions later on. Okay, and then there are no classes in week 0, so just to reiterate and let everyone know.
Okay, if you've done previous qualifications, either let's say the APCSA exam, or you've done a module or course in Polytechnic, many times you may not be able to get credits for it, or even if you get an exemption, I've briefed Polytechnic students before. you may want to consider revoking your exemption. And the reason for that is pretty simple. You have a leg up when it comes to that course, right? You've done, for example, introductory programming or something of this sort. You've taken some information security diploma, okay? Utilize those resources that you've already studied to take those courses again at the university level. You'll be able to cruise through most of it, okay? Usually, most students who've taken a course before in diploma, they can go through the first third or so if they sort of remember what they've done. Again, for the boys in our cohort, which are most of us, right? Maybe you gave it all back to your teacher during NS, okay? But at least those things are familiar to you, right? So when you've gone through it once, it doesn't hurt to go through it again, and you'll be doing it at a much higher caliber. I mean, you are coming to a school that's internationally reputed, so that the rigor of those courses will be much higher. Okay, so that will help you a lot to make sure the first third of your course is manageable. Okay, after that, it's no holds barred. If you were relying on your previous diploma or previous certification to get you through the course, you watch out because there are lots of other people competing as well. Okay, so make sure you study well, master the course material, and do well in your courses.
Okay, and I see Natalie's question. DDP students will work with DDP administrators from both schools to construct a study plan. So who should you contact? Okay, so for CS, if it's for SoC side, you can contact me. If it's other school, you can also check with me on the contact person. Okay, so do not worry about this point.
Yeah, so all of you DDP and CDP students, you've seen Sharni in real person, with the NUS background, but she's here in the office, I assure you. She's not standing outside. So you know her face. She doesn't know you yet, so please feel free to drop by the office and introduce yourself after you've contacted her by email. All of us in SoC UG, we love to help you. We really wish to have some contact face to face with you so we know who we're helping. We want you to graduate in good standing and get the programs that you can get. Sometimes administratively, it's impossible to get things done. And I hope you will understand, our administrators are here to help as much as they can, but even they cannot bend certain rules to help people.
Okay, I saw a low cash question asking if there's a selection process when taking second major or minor in second year. You can't just declare it in ACAD declaration because if it's restricted minor or second major, you actually have to apply via EduRec. But of course, if it's an open second major or minor, you can do it, but please declare within your first 4 semesters. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, I see Chi Ja Kyo's question, so I'll read the question out loud. May I get some advice on how to do a second major in math? Could it potentially complement the major in CS? Answer is yes, definitely. We have many students who do exactly this. Specifically, would the extra advanced theory covered in math be applicable to CS, or are the math modules offered by CS mostly sufficient for CS already? While the further math courses may not necessarily be useful to me, I am still thinking of whether to go for it or not, as I fear it would be too overwhelming. So I think this is a question that a lot of people are interested because they came from a mathematical background. Maybe they did Olympiad or other things. Okay, even if you didn't, it's fine. Okay, a lot of the necessary maths, of course, are part of the math curriculum, the free math requirements that we have in SoC. But there are plenty of courses that benefit from having additional maths that are not necessarily required, but allied and complementary to math that we do in CS. Okay, so there are some like 3,000 and 4,000 level courses that will have additional math that's beyond the requirements. And for the most part, those courses, those CS courses or IS courses will teach those maths that are necessary, but it doesn't hurt to get more. So you can say, for example, that maybe the CS part will just take care of 20% of what you would learn in a particular math module later. Okay, but those are the relevant parts. To contextualize and understand that math, you may need to take the entire math course. Okay, there's no problem with doing extra math. Okay, I also alluded on some of the briefing slides that because these days are the landscape in computing is very volatile. We see a lot of students also a little worried about just doing AI or computing, which is not a problem per se. But if you have bandwidth, we would also encourage you to reach beyond your comfort zone. So even though a second major in maths is quite attainable because there's a lot of double counting, you may want to think about minors and second majors in more distant fields. For example, in law or public policy or computational social sciences, those are all areas where people find a little bit different that you can uh, better and enrich yourself and stand out from the crowd. So I also see Abhiroop Verma is asking and Farhan is answering the question, but I'll read it out anyways. I've opted core major in AI only. I had no major or specialization. I don't want to do any minor or major. I just want to focus on industry and do things like that. So the industry relations office will help you with internships. Okay, there is a required internship within SoC. Many of our poly students can waive that because they've done internship during poly. We find it helpful to continue to do internship, maybe one or two of them during your time in SoC, just to keep current. We do have a number of students that opt to do internship quite a lot. So we see some students doing even 3, 4, or 5. It's certainly not necessary to do that. Students are sometimes very worried that they don't have enough relevance to industry, so they feel that doing multiple internships help them. In truth, it does help them a little bit, but what helps even more is making sure your fundamentals are really good, okay? Because your GPA, your standing in the university will live throughout your entire life. Okay, whether you've done an internship for 3 semesters at one company and your grade point average dropped, from, honors with distinction to, just honors, that will matter much more in the long run. In the short run, you'll see gains, but I would encourage you to take your studies very seriously. Okay. For AI in particular, things are, of course, moving very fast. I would say AI, we have a lot of coursework that will help you understand the fundamentals of AI, and you don't want to necessarily just do internships for that. But if that is the thing that you want to do, again, you can reach out to industry relations. They will help you for SIP, which is a 3-month internship program, and the 6-month internship that goes over part of course time, semester time, is called ATAP, Advanced Technology Attachment Program, and you can also do that as part of your internship requirements. Now, I know some of us may be also doing internships that are self-sourced. Sometimes you may find an internship that doesn't fulfill credit because it doesn't live in the particular timeline that's necessary for us to give credit. So you will need to talk with industry relations about those plans. That's usually the most helpful step for that.
Okay, I saw a question asking if there's any way of finding groups of batchmates. If the university or SoC creates them, for this one I'll suggest you to join Com Club. That's one way for you to meet more people, and then there's chance for you to like make friends, and you can like be classmates and attend the same course, etc. Yeah. So join different activities and try to make full use of like your experience in like university.
Yeah, it's a badly known secret that faculty do not have a good idea of who's doing what. Okay, we are pretty clueless sometimes when it comes to what are all the requirements. Okay, so it's actually best to connect with other seniors and other classmates. You guys are in the program, you know what's going on. So that's why Sharni's advice of talking to Comp Club, but also we have a bevy of different student clubs. They range in many different disciplines. So pretty much every degree program has a student club that specializes in those people. So for example, for the business analytics and business AI systems, we have the Start IT group. We have a number of the other tech groups that are specifically about business. We even have a games development group that does game design and has game jams and things like that. So try to find the group that seems to interest you, and there can be much more than one, right? So just reach out to them. Okay, so our FAQ is getting pretty beefy. We have 79 answered questions, so you have a lot to scroll through. Again, don't worry if you can't take them all down now, but since you're here in this briefing anyways, you might want to try to read through as many as you can now.
Okay, I've shared the screen. You can join the Telegram chat, then you'll find out more on how to join the Kong Club, etc. Okay, I'll leave you on for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Sharni, we were seeing the
Oh,
questions part. We didn't actually see anything
the
about
question.
Telegram.
Okay, let me try and share again. Can you see the QR code for the Telegram chat?
Yeah, I can see
Yes.
it now.
Okay, great. Okay, so you guys can just join the Telegram chat if you're interested to join ComClub. Okay, I hope you have scanned the QR code. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, so in case you don't know the all the student clubs, let me share screen as well. I'll go back to the slides. Okay, so this is the slide that tells you about all of the different clubs. Okay, so competing club is the big one that does all of our rag and flag. They're the club that represents our entire faculty within the university. But we have other ones, like I was mentioning the games development program. We have a very famed NUS Hackers group that runs a hackathon that's actually renowned throughout Southeast Asia. Gray Hats does security. NUS Biz IT, I said, as again, a lot of the business-facing students, such as business AI systems or business analytics. There's also a very nice group, Women in Tech, that helps to cater to the fairer discipline in our school and the AI Society. So I think there are a number of people talking about AI. I am the student liaison, the faculty liaison for the student group as well. And competing for voluntary welfare organization CVWO, they're another group that also runs courses. So I think you had heard earlier that there are ways to give back to the community by creating software and working with volunteer organizations who can't afford many professional developers. Okay, so we care about everyone in our community for that. So I'll also share because I've seen quite a number of questions on exemptions. Okay, so I think many people know this already, but I'm going to share it. Give me a second where I find the cursor. So you can do exactly as I'm doing, okay? NUS exemptions, Polytechnic, and then you will get to the NUS computing page. Okay, and then you can scroll down here and it tells you all of the information. I think one of the key things that I'm sure Muket has stressed to many people who have asked questions about this is that once you take an exemption, withdraw from an exemption, it can't be reversed. Okay. However, we do definitely say that many people who are taking introductory programming, you want to, again, try to make sure that you can do really well for your first semester. Okay. There's no point in having polytechnic experience, placing out of something and then going on to the advanced course and then having to deal with the stress of competing in the university while trying to master coursework, which is a little beyond your reach. Okay. So be very careful about this. Okay. But again, once you are granted approval for a withdrawal request, we won't be able to reverse it. So you have to be clear that you don't want a particular course exemption. Okay, then we can withdraw the exemption, but that cannot be reversed afterwards. Okay, if you're a little bit worried about whether a course is right for you, especially for programming methodologies, if you've already taken something like that, then you can take the self-diagnostic, okay? Try to take this in a, proper test environment. So be at home or in a quiet room, take the assessment. You try to think of it as actually a final exam for a course. It is provided, as it says here, for prospective students to assess the level of difficulty in our averse first course. Okay, so I'll stop sharing my screen now. Okay,
Okay.
keep your questions coming. Go ahead, Shani.
Oh no, as I said, there's no more open questions.
Yeah, we are pretty efficient this time. Yeah, good job, guys.
Also, just a gentle reminder, in the afternoon, there's respective department briefing, so make sure to tune in as well. It will be a different Zoom link. Yeah, you can go back to your email and then retrieve the different program briefing Zoom link.
Okay, so actually, we finished all the questions, and there's no real reason you need to stick around. So if you think, okay, I've heard enough, I want to go for my lunch now, feel free to leave. Again, if you missed the additional questions, they will be compiled into the FAQ. So there's no harm to you. You don't have to worry about being a bit chaotic. Okay, so you can leave the session, and we'll see you in the afternoon for the briefings. Thank you for attending. And if you have additional questions, we'll be here all the way until 12. So don't worry, continue asking. But if you want to drop the call, please do enjoy your lunch. We will see you at the welcome tea and at the school programs briefings later in the afternoon. Okay. Thank you so much for attending. Okay, asked a follow-up question. Is it important to do a second major or minor, or is a single major good enough for us? And I think it really depends on you. Again, just like I've been saying throughout this briefing, you have to understand that when you come to the university, it's a different level of study than what you've done previously. So what we always recommend is that you come into the university, you try with the courses that we've already pre-allocated you, which are a part of your requirements anyways, okay? Calibrate your expectations, take the normal a semester load of 20, okay, around there, and then see whether you can handle it. If you think, oh, wow, this is a walk in the park, I could do this with my eyes closed, then and you may be a candidate for a double degree or something like that, and working with Charny, okay? But if you find, okay, this is actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, then maybe you want to stick to the core major. Okay, so is it important or not? I think the key part of this is two parts. Okay, one is you want to get a good grade point average because that distinguishes you from other appears. But secondly, you want to be true and faithful to what you're interested in. If your interest, I think, for Abirup is really in AI and not anything else, no information security, no computer science engineering, software engineering, stuff like that, then stay with AI. There's nothing wrong. There's a lot of things happening in AI, as we all know. Okay, so specializing and going down that narrow path and saying, I just want to do AI, that's absolutely fine. That's why we have an AI degree in part. Okay, but for us, many of us that aren't sure, exactly what we're doing yet. Okay, we think the computing program is a good fit, but there are other things that I'm curious about. Like, I was always wanted to take Japanese as a second language because I've read so many manga and I've watched anime, etc. Then maybe that's what I want to do. Okay, then why don't you explore? I mean, you're here at the university. The unrestricted electives are part of your requirement because we want you to be more than just a single source, right? So even if you want to use that unrestricted electives to go in deep in AI, that's still some type of differentiation. But if you want to take that and say, I want to do foreign languages, or I want to, do some biological sciences or other things, those are absolutely fine as well. So I hope that answers your question. So I also saw this question from Medhansh Kemka. So I think the program briefings this afternoon are from 2 to 4. They have been shared with you already. You can find them on the freshman site, the micro site that's been circulated to you, which has all the slides from the briefing today as well. Okay, so you know your program of study, so you will have to attend the briefing that afternoon. Okay, for particular pathways and courses, again, there's plenty of information on our website. And even though it has a .com, a COM address, NUS Mods is the authoritative source for all information about courses in NUS besides Canvas. Canvas, you'll get access to later, once you start being enrolled in courses. Once you're enrolled in a course, again, some courses have been pre-allocated to you. The pre-allocation process, because it's a large batch of students, will take some time. So you may talk to some of your friends who are already pre-allocated. Don't fret if you're not yet. We will get to it. It's just queuing up. Okay. Once you have access to Canvas, then the Canvas information for a course will normally be the most authoritative source. So before you get registered for a course, usually the NUS Mods is quite helpful. You'll see reviews of courses there as well, notes about instructors and how they teach. And then once you're inside a course, Canvas is a good source. Some instructors also make some parts of their Canvas information public, so you can go through that to see more information about the courses.
Please look at the chat. We can have written to everyone. Please remember to do your academic plan declaration exercise at least 24 hours before you can access course rec round one. This is very, very important. So please make sure you do that. And department briefings will start at 2:30 p.m. today.
Okay, I have a correction. I said 2 to 4, but Muikat has corrected me. I'm sure everyone already knows except for me. The department briefings start this afternoon at 2:30, not 2 o'clock as I said earlier. Okay, so you have the correct information. It's just that I paged it off. Okay, so Felicia also asked this question. So she asked, what are the benefits of pursuing a second major or a minor? Is it easier to get a particular job if you're pursuing a second major and minor? And I don't think that's really the case, okay? What a second major and minor help you do is signify to prospective employer that you have interests outside of your core. Okay, so I think this related to Abirup's earlier question, is it okay that I just do a single major? Do I really have to do all these other things? And the answer is no, okay? You can just take a single major, that's fine if it's really you're squarely inside of that box. But for many people who have interests that are in multiple things, then a second major or minor is a good way of helping to differentiate you and to signify you have interests in other things, okay? So most importantly, I think, is to do your primary degree program extremely well. Okay, but because you have 160 courses worth of courses that you have to do, right? 160 units, those UE space, right? Those um, 40 units of unrestricted electives, you could take them in a wide variety, a wide pattern of interest. But if you cluster some of them together, okay, like you say, well, there's a lot of things happening in AI. I'm not in the AI program, but I'm thinking of that. Let's say I'm in some other space, then I might want to take an AI related program. Okay, so I can do a second major or minor that might be related to AI, even though it's not in the School of Computing, it might be somewhere else. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. So just to recap, the TLDR is do well in your core area, but if your UE space thinks you can cluster your UE to get another certificate in either a minor, which is again 20 units of work, that's about half of your UE space. You want to take all of your unrestricted electives to achieve a second major, that's also fine too. Okay, so I've got a question here from Hao Wong. So I'll answer that. Is it a good idea to clear the primary modules during the special term period? Um, I think, again, this is provided there for people who want to do it during their special term. They may want to clear it earlier if they hadn't been able to do it during the year, so that they can clear up some space for other courses that come in Sem 1 of year 2 or Sem 2 of year 2. Okay, when you clear a module in the special term, it is accelerated, okay, because basically the special term is only 6 weeks, right? The normal instruction period is over 13 weeks for a break in the middle. But of course, when you clear it during the term break, during special term, you're usually not taking 4 or 5 other classes, you're usually just taking 1 or 2. Okay, so it basically is condensing the material to be learned at faster pace, and you have to concentrate more on it. Okay, so you can do that if you're not doing encumbered by other things during the summer. Again, for many of our year 1 students, we tend to see that they want to do orbital or Odyssey as ways of enriching their job portfolio. Okay, because doing a self-sourced project where you take the initiative to do things will help you a lot for internships later on. Because again, a lot of times employers are looking for, first and foremost, your GPA and how well you're studying. But secondly, what differentiates you, right? Like we need you to tell us a story about why we should pick you over another candidate. And having that fit from your course projects or your self-source projects or through a minor or working towards a minor or second major is a really good way of doing that.
And also, not all courses are offered in special terms. So please go and check the
Hmm.
course availability first. So some of the courses are only available in semester 1 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah, so there are actually, as Shani pointed out, very few courses that are offered during special term. Okay, again, it is 11:50. We have 10 more minutes, but if you guys have gotten all of your questions answered, you want to break for lunch, that is absolutely a-okay. You won't be missing anything because we will compile all of the questions that are in the answered tab, the 93 answers that are currently there, and then find a way to organize them, okay, and then publish them for your read through. Okay, so please do that.
Verma also asked a question about taking a minors in Sem 1. Okay, taking a minor is really, really up to you. Of course, you can choose to take first and then take some of the courses. And if you can't complete or you find it very difficult, you can still drop it as long as it's within your first 4 semesters. So it's really up to you.
Yeah, so since I've given this advice before, again, my advice is to try part of the requirements first, okay? And if you find it useful, then and you want to continue to take the other courses, then it's a good time to declare. Declaration helps you with course registration a tiny bit, okay, not very much, but it will make it slightly easier for you to have a higher priority to get those courses. Okay, usually you don't get to complete the minors so early because it takes quite a bit of time, right? 5 courses, and you already have requirements. So the earliest you would complete is sometime in year 2. Okay, but try it out. If you think you're doing a good enough job, you've completed, let's say, 20% of the requirements or more, then you can think about the declaration. Again, don't miss the timing that the undergraduate office tells you that you need to get things done for. Okay, and as Sharni said, you can always withdraw it later. It's administratively a lot more work to do that on your part. So try to only declare when you're pretty sure that you are going to end up doing that for your program. So the LinkedIn profile shoot, I can see Dongjun, who is our president for NUS Competing Club, is answering that question. So again, as he held the briefing that we played earlier, that is a specific SoC Computing Club event that they did last year, and I think they're going to execute it again this year.
There's a question, since you're not allowed to overload and there's a lot of courses from our primary major will be logged in, is it possible to have a second major courses for year 1, Sem 1? Um, I would say, okay, for Sem 1, maybe you can focus on your modules that are already allocated for you. Maybe Sem 2, you can try to take some UEs from other faculty. That might be a better option. Because you need to at least find out how is the workload, how you can manage before you want to take something that is extra. Prof. Aaron is replying on the e-learning option.
Yeah, so I'll narrate a little bit. CS 1231S is a requirement for many degree programs in SoC. So it's a huge course. So that's why we have several different modalities for it. Yeah, but please wait for Aaron's full answer because I think he is actually the lecturer for this course this coming semester, if I'm not wrong. Usually e-learning is offered because we don't have lecture halls big enough to cater to everyone. So in order for everyone to have a seat, we also offer e-learning lecture. Now, to be clear about that, again, all of the activities that we have at NUS are by default face-to-face. So even though it's recorded, in some cases, your lecturer may decide to record a webcast or something like that through Zoom. Okay, it doesn't mean that's their preferred option. I think most instructors would really, really like you to be in the LT, in the lecture theater, to hear the lecture. This gives them a chance to know how well you're grokking, you get whether you get the information or not, and it helps them read the crowd. Okay, so that's very important. It's also a good chance for you to connect with your instructor. Again, instructors are a trusted authority source, so many times when you graduate and you're looking for an employer who might require some type of letter of recommendation, get the have the opportunity to connect with instructors, even if you're not doing particularly well. I mean, instructors, especially these days, remember who they talk to, right? Because it used to be that there was no remote learning, right? You always saw your students. But these days and age, there's more of a choice. So do try to distinguish yourselves in other ways. Yeah.
I saw an interesting question on people asking if there's any specific laptop requirements. Okay, it's best for you to consult NUS co-op because some of the models that are commonly used by other NUS students. If not, you can also look at the laptop requirements. Okay, there's a wait, let me see. Okay, if not, you can ask your lecturers as well. I think it'll be better because for computing there might be some specific requirements, right, Prof Min, for
Yeah,
coding.
usually the laptop is not that big a concern. It's more about the budget, but I think the best authority for this are your seniors, If you go to your OGLs who might be from computing or you attend any event where there are seniors, let's say from computing club, um, those people will know best, right? They'll know where to get it, like, okay, you can go to Simlin this week because there's a particular deal or something like that. Those are good advice because these are the people actually doing the same program as you. Their laptops have crashed and burned many times, so they don't know what to get. Okay. Actually, faculty are not very plugged in into the IT space. So yeah, it's better to ask your peers. Yeah. Yeah, but
Just
in
add
any
on
case,
that
the types of requirements you have for laptops are usually, not because of coursework. I mean, I think the biggest requirements are from people who game, right? So if you game, you have a very expensive laptop. But for most of the types of things that you're doing in computing, if we need heavy lifting, we'll be doing it from servers, cloud servers. So it won't be burning your laptop up.
Brian, you raise your hand. Maybe you can type your question in the chat box. Let us know what you want to ask.
And I think Sharni has allowed you to talk. So if you want to unmute your microphone, you're more than welcome to talk and ask your question live.
If there's no question, then we've answered close to 100 questions. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Yeah.
Last one minute to ask any questions, any last questions you guys have.
So I want to thank all of our staff. There are so many people online who have been answering questions. You can't see their faces today. They're a little shy. So please come and visit us in the undergraduate and student life office on the first floor and know that you have a huge support system to make you succeed in your journey at NUS. We hope that you get many chances to meet Socket. I think, it's a she, is will be helping you around campus and through your studies. Is Socket a she? I actually don't know. I think we had some debates about that.
Not sure. The gender of okay.
Sharni, it is time, so we'll let you close out the session.
Okay, have a good lunch and we'll see the rest of you this afternoon at the respective department briefing. Thank you for your time and I will close this session. Bye
Thank you
bye.
all. Take care.
Thank you.